Think about what kind of kid you want to be. Hi, guests. This is Riley.
And Brycen.
Back with another episode of Goats in the Making, where we talk about game-changing stories of life, sports, and faith.
On today's episode, we're excited to introduce you to founder of Lacrosse the World and coach of the 12U Creek Crocs, Matt Ramsey.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me today. I'm excited to participate and get this going.
Matt's lacrosse journey began at Wingate University, where he made an undeniable impact on the field, showcasing skill, strategy, and unwavering dedication to the game. He was named preseason All-American by Face Off magazine in his senior year. His transition into coaching further solidified his influence, returning to Wingate as a coach. He played a crucial role in developing players, fostering teamwork, and shaping the next generation of lacrosse athletes.
Beyond coaching, Matt has made global contributions to lacrosse through Lacrosse the World and dedicated to expanding access to the game, mentoring young athletes, and growing the sport internationally. Lacrosse the World is a global lacrosse organization that connects former NCAA lacrosse players with opportunities to play and coach lacrosse all over the world. Matt's commitment to lacrosse goes way beyond competition. It's about building a culture of excellence and opportunity. I am lucky enough to have had him as my head coach for my first season of lacrosse this year.
Coach Matt, are there any other things our guests should know about you?
So, no, you guys did your research. From my steps from Wingate, being from Philadelphia, and then going international. I mean, you guys captured it. I've been fortunate, like we were talking in the beginning, as kind of having YouTube and became friends of having those families and friends all over the world now through the sport of lacrosse. So it's really opened a lot of opportunities for me. And no, you guys hit it nail on the head. It's definitely on the field and off the field. I'm looking to kind of impact and grow the game.
We like to start off by getting to know our guests with a few this or that or rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
Brycen told me that you played baseball too. What position did you play?
I started at shortstop, and then I was pitching for a little bit, but the pitching didn't go too well at all. I got hit pretty hard. So shortstop I like because you're always kind of involved in the hits and everything going on.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite place you've traveled to with lacrosse?
That's a tough one. I've been fortunate to be in Asia and Singapore for a tournament. I was in Hong Kong, but Australia definitely, since I just went there recently, that has to be kind of what I saw and experienced down there. It's like no other place on earth. So to be able to see kangaroos in the wild and certain things like that, and then play lacrosse still involved, and they're growing as far as that community and every club down there. So it's a really family environment. So Australia is definitely number one for me.
Yeah, I want to go to Australia one day.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
And I want to go see the Sydney Opera House.
That's a really cool site too.
Mountains or beaches?
I'm in Jacksonville, so I'll say beaches.
Best cake flavor?
Cake flavor. So I guess as a type of cake, I like tiramisu. So I'm a big coffee drinker. So kind of that Italian espresso kind of cake. Definitely. I used to work at Olive Garden, and I used to eat quite a bit of that there.
Do you like cats or dogs more?
So I grew up with cats, but now if I had two dogs that I shared with in college back and forth, so they were lab husky mixes, and they were great dogs. So definitely a dog person now, but cats are still good to me too.
Finish this thought. If I'm not at the lacrosse field, I'm probably
cooking. I do like to cook quite a bit. And that kind of, while I'm here in the States and not traveling certain things, I always like to experiment in new cuisines and certain things. Italian's still my number one to make, but I like to try to make Asian dishes and certain things like that. So definitely cooking.
Speaking of cooking, would you rather cook at home or go out to eat?
Home. You can control everything, kind of the spices going in. I like type of like hot flavors, so some spice put in there. And sometimes you go to restaurants, it's not the way that you like it. So definitely at home.
What's your favorite Bible verse or motto that you live by?
So Bible verses, I have a few. one recently is I have to go back to kind of get the actual line, but it just talks about maturity and letting God finish that work and going forward. So as you progress and you hit obstacles, you're not mature enough in your life to go and know what God has plans for you. So seeing through those obstacles and knowing that you're going to be mature one day and see that to the end. So that's one of the kind of, I guess I would say, live by too, because perseverance. There's been obstacles all over in my personal life and then also through work and even growing this. We deal a lot with visas and governments to get these players over there to work. So there's always obstacles, but persevering and knowing the goal that you set for yourself and trying to hit that.
My favorite verse is Joshua 1:9, which is, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go."
That's an awesome verse and definitely one to live by too. The courage is a big thing, especially when we were talking about when we start in something new in the beginning, it's really kind of hard to get adjusted, or some kids may be better than you, especially in the sport of lacrosse. So coming in as a beginner and having that courage and know that next time is going to be better, next practice, each time you get a little bit better, it carries a long way. That's a good verse though. How about you, Riley?
My favorite verse is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You hear it a lot, but it just reminds me that I could do everything.
No, consistent, right? It's always
Mhm.
there for you.
And
Agree.
it's easy to remember when I'm.
You guys got me on mine verse, so more luck to you guys for that. Good job.
What's your favorite song or type of music?
So I think what you guys will find out about me, I'm all over the place with a lot of my interests in certain things. I'm big into country right now. There's a guy called Sam Barber, and he's coming to St. Augustine, so I'm going to see him this month. So country is kind of my thing right now, especially going into the summer months.
Yeah, I like country music a lot too.
Very
That's
cool.
what I mainly listen to.
How about you, Brycen?
Country and Christian.
Nice.
Yeah. Do you like coaching lacrosse or playing lacrosse more?
I figured this was going to be one of the questions for sure. And it's like, it's 50-50 on, honestly, I love playing. I still play here in Jacksonville on Sundays. We still have a league, but coaching is very rewarding in itself. So coaching, you can see when you see that there's improvements from starting in the beginning of the season, and just each kid, just that little bit of improvement and that little bit of confidence. It's such a rewarding feeling when you're coaching out there. Playing, I still play, like I said, but my days are gone and come with the competitive aspect and certain things like that. So it's really good to pass on the knowledge. And obviously, that's why I live across the world and giving that access to the different ways to play and the different styles and certain things. So coaching, I guess, has a little bit of an edge now. And now that where I'm at my age. How about you? Do you give me a grade for the coaching for the season?
A+.
Sweet. That's good to hear. And Riley, have you ever played lacrosse or tried to pick up the stick and throw around or anything?
Yeah, I've played lacrosse in like the pool and just for fun outside, but I've never actually played like a real game of it.
Nice. Nice. Well,
We're going to move on and ask some questions about your lacrosse journey.
sure.
Growing up, you were a multi-sport athlete and went on to be a collegiate athlete, but in our areas, it feels kind of forced to dedicate to one sport year-round or else you'll fall behind. What do you think about the pressure kids face to specialize and not explore other opportunities?
Yeah, that's a hot topic right now and being debated. And you hear and talk to a bunch of parents. What should I do? Should I do just lacrosse? Should I expose them to more sports and certain things? And growing up, like you said, multi kind of sport athlete, you learn so many things. I mean, from played ice hockey growing up, I played soccer, baseball. You take a little bit of each of those, and obviously, I found my passion on lacrosse. But if I wasn't involved in those sports from an early age and just did lacrosse, I think I would be pretty narrow minded in what I was thinking and how each sport does. I mean, it's pretty cool to be able to just go and shoot hoops one time or certain things like that. So there's a lot of aspects of those other sports I think that kids can benefit from instead of just specializing in that one sport, especially at a certain age. I mean, you get to high school, you can start kind of narrowing down a little bit more of your time and activity because that's what it really all takes. You got to dedicate the time to be good at any sport that you play. But early on, I think having a wide variety of sports that you play will help you a lot in your athleticism.
This season, I'm starting basketball and I've been learning to do backflips. And yeah, I've been practicing more sports and it actually takes it into other sports and makes it so.
Very cool. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, just some of those movements and certain things that we carry on. I mean, lacrosse is very similar to basketball, to be honest. A little bit more aggressiveness that you can have with the stick and the pads and certain things. But basketball is no joke. They throw some elbows out there too. So that physicality is still in that sport as well. So good luck to you on basketball, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like every sport goes into lacrosse at least a little bit
Yeah,
because you got the running from football, you got the stick from hockey. Yeah, it just goes into every single sport. Like when I was playing baseball, they did not do anything with your legs. They were only our upper body. I was not fast at all.
I got you. No, you hit it right. The endurance of running up and down like a soccer field or certain things carrying the lacrosse. So you're true.
Mm-hmm.
You and the coaches made this season so fun, and I can't believe how much I learned while doing the work. How do you balance fun with skill and competitiveness as a coach?
Good question. And I'd be lying if I didn't say I have like a computer with a bunch of drills and certain things that I've carried on for years and certain things. And even when I was overseas, I used to go into a lot of primary schools or grade schools and deliver lacrosse for their PE lessons. So that's where a lot of those, like the Hungry Hippo ground ball game comes from and certain things like that, to have a little bit more of that competitive, but that game feeling of like kind of like a schoolyard a little bit. But the competitiveness, I mean, we challenge you guys, right? We split you into two teams. We do a certain amount of drills, and we really make you feel that at that night of practice, who's going to win. And it's not always about the wins and losses, but you guys are striving together to come from a team from that 10 versus 10 or certain things like that. So you guys do a lot of the legwork in that. I just put the drills out there and then kind of put something up for grabs, bring the competitiveness. And then the fun ones are just always in there just to kind of have a laugh and see who can do the trick shot or certain things like that. So it's definitely a balance. And I know at this age, it goes a long way because you guys got to love the sport when you leave it there.
Yeah, the water fight at the end.
Well, that's all our coaches and our team moms. They did. I have a huge support system, and Creeks has been great to me. So I've really found to be like a home and a family environment, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
The sport of lacrosse seems to be really growing, especially in the South. What do you see the future of the sport looking like?
It's definitely growing, especially in the South. The future, I hope to see a little bit more involvement on a box level. So that's where a lot of stick skills come in, and box lacrosse is just a slightly different, but it's in tight in like a hockey rink. So you have like where Brycen was saying that speed and endurance out there, where when you go into that tight quarter, it's a lot more on the stick, that there's a lot more finesse involved in certain things. It's pretty physical, but I would like to see a little bit more of box helping out with a lot of kids, especially early on when they pick up a stick. When you put them in that enclosed environment, you miss the ball, it's not going 50 yards behind you, certain things like that. It's hitting a wall. But that box environment, I think a lot of kids can benefit, especially here in Florida. We can have an outdoor kind of rink on hockey and certain things like that and get you guys moving. It definitely would help benefit the sport in a long way.
Mm-hmm. How did you come up with the idea to start Lacrosse the World? And what's the thing you are most proud of?
Very good question. The most thing I'm proud of, let me answer that one first, is the guys and girls that have traveled across to these other clubs to give back and have that experience. I mean, when they're in Europe and they're able to travel around and see some sites, but then also through lacrosse, they're doing a really big job and helping out grow, that Creeks U12 team over in England or down in Australia where it is. So they get a lot of good impact that way. The idea or how the organization came about, I was actually supposed to go back for another year to England, and the program got canceled that was run through England lacrosse. So that kind of sidetracked my plans a little bit, and it never fully evolved back in England. So I took this idea because I was talking to the club that I went to, and they still wanted players to come over. They still want them to help in the schools and recruit new kids and expose the sport to more individuals. So it came about where I was like, if England lacrosse is going to do it, let me try to be that middleman and help give those opportunities, not just to England, but then growing it and expanding it over different countries. Like I said, I was in Singapore, but we were also fortunate to have a girl that played at Wingate University over there back in 2020, and she did fantastic work over there. And that's a far way to go over in Asia and certain things, but she had a really good experience and made a lot of good connections. But that's kind of how the business came about. One got canceled, and I saw another opportunity to kind of fill that void and start from there.
What advice would you give a youth athlete that is facing challenges and thinking about quitting their sport, whether it's baseball, lacrosse, or another one?
Yeah, just try to identify what the weakness is that's really holding you back or certain things. And then you might have to do a little time outside of the practice, right? Or go to the coach and ask for, hey, what's a good tip for do for this? For us, we have that in lacrosse a lot of times early on. And we have this kind of a drill or activity just called wall ball. You just find a wall and you take your stick and you do 25 right, 25 left. And it really helps you with your confidence. We see guys doing it right before practice, just kind of helping and growing that confidence that you put the time in and you get the results. Not every wins and losses are going to accumulate to that, but you know that you're preparing to be better in certain things. But yeah, the quitting thing is tough because obviously everybody goes through hard times and tough times. But I think like we talked about in the perseverance and seeing the season through, at least you can know that you went through and gave it your best shot. I think that's a big thing, knowing that you left it all out there.
Mm-hmm. And for a lot of people, it's like really big on confidence. And if they don't have confidence, they usually don't play as good. And that's one thing that can make you want to stop going. But if you keep practicing and get confident and good, then you'll get back right on track.
Well said. Well said. I agree. We talk about as a coaching staff and certain things even before practice, like who needs to lift up today or who we're looking at that needs to kind of have that extra pull aside to make sure that they're doing the drill right. And but encouragement along the way. It's you talk to a kid and you tell them kind of what's going on and make sure that they understand too, because they walk away not know what's going on still and have that confidence to ask. And it's okay to ask questions no matter where you're at in your level of field and the level of athleticism where you're at. Good
Mhm.
question, though.
Great advice so far.
Thank you.
One thing that my pastor said that has really stuck with me is that the enemy is wanting us to believe our doubt and doubt our beliefs. But Jesus wants us to believe our beliefs and doubt our doubts. What inspires you to keep going when it feels like it's hard to believe in yourself?
So, very, very good question, or very good segue as far as what we talk about inner confidence and what you have to believe in and how you go. And that self doubt is definitely everybody has it. That little voice inside that you can't do this or you can't do that run or you can't lift that weight or whatever it is in your mind of what you have. But you got to believe at the end that your mind's going to tell your body what to do, right? You're going to be able to push through, even if you think that you can't do it. It's in you, it's in that heart. That's why you're there. Especially when you bring in what you talk about with religion. We all have our moments in time of when you feel that you're in that right place at the right time, you know that you have that belief that you're going in the right direction. I got some advice pretty recently that said, if everybody tells you no or certain things, you're going in the right direction. Because that doubt that people keep giving you and feeding into you, that there's something on the other side that has that itch that you're trying to go for. So definitely overcoming adversity and seeing things through, but having the belief, people talk about vision boards, certain things like that, but definitely comes through a conversation. And for me, it's really with Jesus and God and seeing what I can do through them and what they need to do for me and what I can go for the next step.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of friends at school that'd rather be inside playing video games instead of on the field. How do you think that video games and social media have impacted youth sports?
Yeah, they definitely have a big impact, even from just the highlights and certain things. I mean, social media is not going to go away. I think that there's a big part of it where you can help yourself with that, either posting some of the activities that you're doing with lacrosse and certain things and helping. Video games are fun, but I think that when that sun's out, I'd rather be outside. And that's how I've always been kind of growing up in certain things. There's a time and place for them, but maybe that's after you put in some work outside or shooting hoops or hitting the wall for a ball or certain things like that, or going just taking batting practice, hitting the batting cages. So life isn't meant to be outside, I think, but video games, there's a place at the end of the night and kind of calming down and relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Was coaching something you've always wanted to do when you were growing up? What's the most rewarding part of it?
So coaching has always been there. In high school, my father coached both my brother and I in lacrosse in high school. And then my sister went and played college lacrosse too, and then also coached at the collegiate level. So we're all kind of been involved in coaching in those aspects and certain things. And I think it's just staying involved in the sport, right? Not that going from college and putting in work, 7 days a week with guys during that season, and then coming out and graduating and then filling that void somewhere, not just by playing, but then also giving back to the sport and certain things. So the most rewarding, again, is just seeing the improvement that kids go from day one to the end of that season. And it's not even always the best kid that you can see those little increments getting better. And then also kind of the worst kid on the team and seeing how far they come. So you get rewarded by seeing that work that they put in, but you knew that you helped guide that process.
Mm. Time for a little segment we like to call Home Run or Strikeout. We're going to ask you a series of questions, and you decide if they're a home run or strikeout. A home run's a good thing, and a strikeout's a not so good thing.
I got you on that one.
Riley, I think today we can go with bar down or yard sale.
There you go, right there.
Waffle House.
Let's say yard sale.
Socks with slides.
I used to do that when I was younger. Now I don't do it anymore. So I'm going to say yard sale.
Choosing a single sport as a kid.
Yard sale.
Camping.
Home run for sure. Or I guess, what did we say? We said go bar down.
Pineapple on pizza.
I've had Hawaiian pizza before. It's not my favorite, but I'd eat it again. Bar down then. We'll say bar down.
Mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Bar down. I do like mint chocolate chip ice cream. That's a good one.
It's my favorite one.
Nice.
Theme parks.
Theme parks, bar down. Yes, I do enjoy theme parks and definitely going. The last one I think I went to is actually probably in Charlotte, like Carowinds. So I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but they have a lot of good roller coasters there too.
Have you ever heard of Cedar Park in Ohio?
Cedar Point.
Cedar Point, I have heard. I've never been. Have you guys been?
Yeah, we went together.
Nice.
Riley went. Yeah, it was
Very
fun.
cool. They have a huge roller coaster, one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, we went on one of the other tallest roller coasters in the world. It was like 350 feet tall.
Jeez.
So.
Did you guys enjoy it? Or was it scary?
It was fun.
Fun.
Nice.
Travel sports.
Travel sports meaning like playing after the rec season or certain things like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a time and place as kids grow older and really start taking the sport a little more competitive. I think travel teams are definitely a bar down as far as the next step of what they can have after the rec season. And those tournaments are a lot of fun to go to. And the kids have a lot of camaraderie that comes together as a team too.
Mm-hmm.
Before we end the night, we want to give you an award based on what we love about you.
Thank you.
We want to give you the Grow the Game Lax Legend Award for being a true trailblazer in the world of lacrosse, coaching, mentoring, and inspiring players across the globe. You don't just teach the game, you ignite passion, build communities, and open doors for players everywhere. You've taught me that lacrosse isn't just about winning, it's about teamwork, leadership, and sharing the love of the game with everyone, everywhere.
Your wisdom and energy make lacrosse more than a sport. It's a movement. We may only be kids, but we know a game changer when we see one. Thank you for sharing your time, knowledge, and love for lacrosse with us. We promise to play with the same passion you've inspired us to.
Sweet. Thank you guys for those kind words. It really means a lot to me. And you guys, like I said, did your research and looked everything up, and it means a lot. Like I put a lot of time and effort to coaching, developing that organization. And I should acknowledge too, like there's a big aspect of lacrosse where us all being Americans, right? It's a Native American sport. And that's a whole nother history that for another episode and certain things they can get on. But the Native American tribes used to use that lacrosse as a way to prepare for battle. Their games that sometimes were over a couple of days. The goals were like just a little rock, like a couple miles away. So very sacred game to the Native American population. And really, I was fortunate enough to play on a reservation before and what we said in the box lacrosse. So a big contributing factor from the sport is Native Americans and their growth of it and playing for a long time. So hopefully you guys get to see a little bit more of that and learn about the history of it. But it's a great game, and I've enjoyed my entire time, and my parents to thank for that, and my family for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how far sports have come. Like lacrosse, it just used to be for the Native American tribes in USA and Canada, and now
Mm-hmm.
it's what it is today and way different.
Spread all over the world.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, guys, as well.
Before we sign off, what would be one thing you would want to tell your 10-year-old self?
One thing to tell my 2-year-old self. Yeah, definitely. Again, going back to the perseverance. Hard things are going to happen in life, but know that with the support system and with your belief and truly with God at the forefront, all things are possible.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
A huge thank you to Matt Ramsey for coming on the show tonight. We appreciate you spending time with us.
Thanks, guys. Nice meeting you, Riley. Thanks, Brycen.
Nice meeting you too.
Have a good one, guys.
You too. This is Brycen.
And Riley.
Thank you for joining us for this episode, and until next time,
Think about what kind of kid you want to be.
see you.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.